We have new information in the murder of Trey Wright, a South Carolina teen shot and killed in what police say was orchestrated by his girlfriend. 9 teenagers are now charged with murder. 7 are charged as adults, and 2 of them seem to think the accusations are a joke. This is a social media post with 2 of the suspects posing outside jail after posting bond. I'll share with you what law enforcement told me about this.
As soon as I came out the doors, he was already lying in the middle of the road. My dad was over top of him. He wasn't really performing CPR because he had seen that Trey got shot kind of where his lungs were. All I could do was just go to Trey's side, but I had to kind of tell him that he was okay and everything was going to be okay, that he didn't need to try and say anything. He just needed to try and breathe and stay awake for us.
I spoke with one of Trey's friends who was there that night. She was by his side after he was shot. What she saw, including alleged suspicious behavior by the girl now accused of orchestrating the teen's murder. We're on the case presented by Law&Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. I could not believe the Snapchat picture I showed you there at the top of this episode. These 2 teenagers posing outside the county jail after they posted bond in a case where they are charged with murder. I'll show you that picture in a moment and what we know about those suspects. Right now, 9 people are charged with murder in the case of Trey Wright. We know the names of 7 of them. 2 of them are minors, and 7 out of the 9 people charged have been granted bond. Trey Wright was just 16 years old when he was shot and killed the night of June 24th. It was around 11:30 that deputies responded to find him shot along a country road. As far as the suspects go, this is the man who police say pulled the trigger. His name is Devin Raper. He's 19. Raper and Wright followed each other on social media. A close family friend of Trey Wright's just told me that Trey actually considered Raper a friend. They didn't know each other for long though. Detectives say the 2 were at odds over a girl the night that Trey Wright was killed. That girl is also charged with murder. In fact, she's accused of orchestrating what happened to Trey Wright. Her name is Gianna Kirstenmacher. Trey's friend told me that Gianna remained on scene that night after Trey was shot and deputies arrived, but she did find something suspicious about how Gianna allegedly acted. I'll share that with you in just a moment. Detectives have cast a wide net in investigating Trey's murder. 9 teenagers in this case are facing charges. It was reported that there was a 10th suspect, but law enforcement told me today that is not the case. Here are 2 of the newest suspects we've learned about. They are charged with murder. 17-year-old Braylon Thompson and 17-year-old Jaden O'Clair. Both were granted $20,000 bonds, and court records show they posted bond on the same day, August 6th. We found this picture of a Snapchat post made by Thompson of him and O'Clair outside of the Florence County Detention Center. It shows the 2 of them posing, O'Clair throwing up a peace sign, and Thompson with a finger in his mouth showing his teeth like he has a grill in. The caption, "I'm free," with a racial slur that I will not say here, but it begins with the letter N. I reached out to the Florence County Sheriff. I showed them this picture and I asked if they were aware of this post, and they told me they were. It's unclear what led to Thompson and O'Clair's charges in the murder of Trey Wright, but again, they are both charged with murder. The other suspects facing charges, 18-year-old Hunter Kendall, 17-year-old Sydney Kearns, and 18-year-old Corinne Belviso. Detectives say they brought Raper to the scene that night knowing that he was armed and knowing there was going to be a confrontation with Trey Wright, the victim. Along with them, you have Gianna Kirstenmacher, who we just talked about. Here's what Trey's friend told me about what she saw Gianna do on scene after Trey was shot. Had you ever met Gianna?
That night was the first time I'd ever met her.
And again, I know there's things that you can say and you can't say. I mean, but she was still on scene. I guess like you saw her there when you went outside.
Yes, sir. She was still on scene. She stayed on scene till he went to the hospital, and then she went to the hospital, but his mom and them didn't know anything till I got there, or the other kids got there to let her know what was going on, because I wasn't the person who could tell her that on the phone, and I was the one who called.
And I know just from reading the police report, and I mean, you were there, that it sounds like it was a very like hectic scene and there was just a lot of emotion and people screaming. I mean, what, when you first met her in that situation, like what was her body language? Did it like, what did it seem like in that moment?
She kind of threw me off because she was acting like she didn't know what was going on, like she was hurt. And then I don't know, she just when she stepped away from people, I just she had this look on her face and I just really didn't understand it.
What was like a angry look or what was it like?
She seemed like when she got in front of people, she was kind of freaking out like we were, but like when she walked away, she seemed calm. Like she called her parents, told her parents what was going on, and she was shaky in her voice, but she was still pretty calm on the phone with her parents.
I'll have more of my interview with Trey's friend in just a moment. I do have a new 10-page police report that sheds more light on what detectives say happened on June 24th. Around 11:41, law enforcement responded to a call about a shooting. The deputy said it was a chaotic scene when he arrived with several people there, some who were emotional and distraught. Trey was on the ground with several people around him screaming. He had 2 close gunshot wounds to his chest. According to this report, EMS rushed him to the hospital, but he lost his life. Deputies say they were told the shooter fled in a white Mazda SUV. 4 people were inside, 1 had a gun and was wearing a ski mask, according to police. Deputies say when the car first arrived, Trey Wright approached it, banged on the door, then someone opened it, and shots were fired. Deputies also write that the confrontation was planned and fueled by provocative Snapchat messages. Speaking of social media, we found the social media of Corinne Belviso, now facing a charge of murder. Before I get back to this episode of On the Case, I need to take a moment and pause and talk about something really important. Because as a dad, nothing is more important to me than my kids' futures. I do think about it a lot, especially with the kind of stories that I cover here at Law and Crime. That said, life insurance is just one of those things that no one wants to think about until it's too late. You don't want to imagine a day when you might not be there for your kids. Maybe it's to pay for college or just to keep a roof over their heads. But having a term life insurance policy means that if something unexpected does happen, they will still be taken care of. Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance that you can get done today. It is made for busy parents just like you. It is all online on your schedule, right from your couch. You could be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. What's unique about Fabric is that they've partnered with Gerber Life, which is trusted by millions of families for over 50 years, and their high-quality policies are designed with flexibility to fit your family and your budget, like up to $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. They also offer all sorts of other features like free digital wills and even investment tools to safeguard your children's futures, and everything is easy to access right from your phone. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. You can apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/OTC. Meetfabric.com/OTC. That is MEET fabric.com/OTC. On June 25th, that's the day after Trey Wright was killed, look at what she posted. This is a link to the GoFundMe page for Trey Wright saying, quote, they've made a GoFundMe to help Trey's family. If you're able to donate, anything will help. Trey was one of my friends. We're heartbroken. To know him was to love him. LLT, which stands for Long Live Trey. That has become a battle cry for those who are honoring him and calling for justice for his death. Belviso's lawyer told WPDE-TV that his client, though, is innocent, saying, quote, it's really simple. She's not guilty of anything. We've hashed through the stories. She's talked with police. I'm shocked she was charged, and I will defend this case with every breath I have. She's not guilty of anything. As far as that Snapchat post allegedly made by murder suspect Braylon Thompson posing with murder suspect Jaden O'Clair, the prosecutor told local station WPDE once they were made aware of the post, they filed a motion to modify the bond conditions to prevent any more posts by the suspects. In the statement, they do not mention Thompson and O'Clair by name. Right now, Raper, the alleged gunman, and Hunter Kendall are the only two suspects still being held without bond. Here's what happened when Raper made his first court appearance per WBTW.
I did not do none of this. There was four more people.
All right, I'm not here to try.
I understand that, but
I'm not here to try your case, but you can speak to law enforcement and you can also talk to your attorney.
They won't talk. They didn't do nothing.
While the criminal case plays out for 9 suspects in Trey's murder, 2 are considered minors. We do not know their names as they have not been made public. Many in South Carolina continue to honor the life of Trey Wright, a high school athlete and a friend. I spoke with Jasmine Lauterbach. She says that she rushed to his side the night he was killed. All of this happened right near her home, a home where Trey was staying. She says her dad and a deputy were trying to help Trey as he lay on the ground when she arrived. Jasmine, how did you know Trey Wright?
Trey started off as just a family friend from the neighbors next door, but then he was over at our house almost every day, so he quickly became family and he was like a little brother to me.
And was he living with you at the time that everything happened?
At the time, he was staying with me, but he did not live with me.
Okay. And I know that it isn't easy to talk about, but can you explain what you saw the night that he lost his life?
As soon as I came out the doors, he was already lying in the middle of the road. My dad was over top of him. He wasn't really performing CPR because he had seen that Trey got shot kind of where his lungs were. So he was just compressing his chest so that Trey would be able to breathe. And the officer was standing right beside my dad.
What were you doing in that moment?
In that moment, all I could do was just go to Trey's side, but I had to kind of tell him that he was okay and everything was going to be okay, that he didn't need to try and say anything. He just needed to try and breathe and stay awake for us.
What was going through your mind in I mean, that's such a difficult situation to be in. How did you handle all that?
In the moment, it was really just an adrenaline rush that helped me handle it because I didn't want to see him like that, but I couldn't make myself get away from him. I knew that he had my dad, but I know he needed someone else. But I did eventually have to get away because I needed to figure out if somebody had done called his mom or his grandma or somebody to get them either out here with us or either to the hospital.
What do you remember about I know all of this happened, I think around 11:30, between 11:30 and midnight. What was Trey doing prior to that?
Prior to that, it was really just a normal day. The kids had went to the river right down the road from my house like they always do. They were just playing around, jumping off the bridge. They had came home, they were still goofing off in the yard, just hanging out.
Where did all of this happen?
All of this happened at my house.
So this is right, because I know I've seen pictures of the road and we have the address from police. What is that for people who have never been there? What is that area like?
That area is really just everybody knows everybody. We're not blood, but we all consider each other family. Usually when people come down there, they feel safe because where I'm from, no matter whose kid it is, everybody's gonna look out for them.
Was that like a hangout spot for people? Because I know like just based off of what we've been told by law enforcement, it just seems like there was a lot of people there.
That's just usually how my brother and them are. They have a lot of friends, and most of their friends' parents don't really let them go out like that. So my house was like a safe space for everybody. So usually my house was the hangout place for most of the kids.
When you say your brother, do you mean Trey?
Trey and my other little brother.
Other little brother.
Yeah.
What do you want people to know about Trey Wright?
Trey was really just an amazing person. He wasn't really physical. He never really argued like that. He was just a goofball.
Yeah, and it seems like just from the pictures and we see a lot of outpouring of support on social media from people who met him that he seems like in a lot of ways just such a life of the party um type person. It's I
He
know it's
really
not.
was.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for you, like I mean, you've been through a lot, not only with Trey, but I mean, what you've experienced at such a young age. Like, how have you handled the last several weeks?
It's really just been mostly a blur. I take it day by day because I'm used to being around Trey every single day. He considered me his sister too, so we just had that bond. He would pick on me, I would pick on him. And now that he's not here, it's just kind of like dull.
What did you know about? I know the name Gianna is one that's come up, and um, he was apparently dating her, from what I've read. I mean, what was their relationship?
Gianna and Trey had been dating, but I think they only were dating like for a month, maybe 2 months. But he was getting to the point where he really did like her. It was different from any of the other girls he had been around. He actually wanted to go out his way and be with her. He put everything aside.
Because there's so many people that have been charged in connection to his death, I mean, are these people he knew? Or like what was the relationship with all these people who had come together?
I feel like the only two people he really knew like that were Devin and Gianna, and even those people, he had just started hanging out with Devin in the springtime. So they've only knew each other a couple months. And I just feel like most of those kids were just acquaintances. I've never heard their names from that night. Like that night was the first time I'd ever heard most of those names.
What has it been like seeing those names though? You see their mug shots. Um, you see the charges that they're faced with, and you saw what happened that night, and you've lived it. What's it been like to just see all of those people and what police say they did?
It's just really crazy. Like I don't understand how there's that many people around the situation and kind of have an idea what's about to happen, but don't tell their friend to like stop and think about this or we don't need to do this. It's really insane to me.
Because he knew Devin Raper. Um, did he ever say anything about him, or what was their relationship?
He never really said anything about him. They just hung out mostly. Trey liked to come to the beach a lot. He was into the truck shows and stuff, so Devin knew where to go, what to do. So they were really just friends through that. Devin had never came and hung out with Trey in Johnsonville or anything like that.
But they were, to your understanding, I mean, like friendly with each other in some ways.
Yes, sir. I do. I believe they were friends. I don't know what clicked that night or what went on that night to come about this, but it was never really bad blood between any of them.
What was the moment like for you when you were told that he was the one who deputies say did this to Trey?
I was mostly just in shock. Like I didn't understand because I figured it would be somebody who Trey had an altercation with or something. Even though he never really argued with anybody, I didn't think it'd be someone who Trey was hanging out with constantly and going to the beach with.
Had you ever met Gianna?
That night was the first time I'd ever met her.
And again, I know there's things that you can say and you can't say. I mean, but she was still on scene. I guess like you saw her there when you went outside.
Yes, sir. She was still on scene. She stayed on scene till he went to the hospital, and then she went to the hospital. But his mom and them didn't know anything till I got there, or the other kids got there to let her know what was going on. Because I wasn't the person who could tell her that on the phone, and I was the one who called.
And I know just from reading the police report, and I mean you were there, that it sounds like it was a very like hectic scene and there was just a lot of emotion and people screaming. I mean, what w- when you first met her in that situation, like what was her body language? Did it like what did it seem like in that moment?
She kind of threw me off because she was acting like she didn't know what was going on, like she was hurt. And then I don't know, she just when she stepped away from people, I just she had this look on her face and I just really didn't understand it.
What was like a angry look or what was it like?
She just she seemed like when she got in front of people, she was kind of freaking out like we were, but like when she walked away, she seemed calm. Like she called her parents, told her parents what was going on, and she was shaky in her voice, but she was still pretty calm on the phone with her parents.
And it kind of similar question as I asked with Devin, because, when it comes out that she's dating this person who passes away and loses their life in this terrible fashion, and then according to police, they said, she was the orchestrator of everything. Like, what was that like for you when her name first came up, you see her mugshot, and then you actually hear what the deputies who investigated say she did?
I just didn't really know what to say because I don't. Trey was the kind of person that everybody loved. Nobody really had anything that they didn't like about him. So I just didn't understand what made her do this. Because Trey's like, if you tell him you don't want to be with him, he's fine. He might be hurt for a little bit, but he'll go on with his life. It's not that big of a deal to him.
And I know there's been a lot of, at least outside of your community, questions about the bond because 7 of the 9 suspects are out on bond. What has been some of the reaction? I mean, your family, friends, I mean, some of these suspects, and I actually believe all 7 out on bond, it's a $20,000 bond, which isn't incredibly high for someone who's charged with murder.
We're mostly angry because they did get out on bond. We don't see, they all helped in some type of way. And we just don't understand how they could get a bond when they're all charged with murder.
We have that picture of Braylon Thompson and Jaden Auclair outside the Florence County Detention Center. We reached out to law enforcement. They said they were aware of this picture. If you've seen that, um, what was your reaction when you saw them posing, knowing what they're accused of?
I feel like they think it's funny. I don't really, they don't feel no sympathy or remorse. And they know that they got away with a slap on the wrist right now. So I just think they think it's a joke.
And I don't know if you also saw, I think it was Corinne or Corrine Belviso. She had posted the GoFundMe for Trey Wright on her Facebook page a couple days after. If you had seen that, and she's now charged as well and was let out on bond. What was your reaction when you saw that?
I kind of figured it was going to happen because Corinne was trying to talk to me that night, but I had already figured out what happened, so I didn't want to hear anything from her. And she was like, I just rode here. I just rode here. I didn't do anything. I didn't believe it, not one bit. And I still don't believe it to this day. And then she tried to tell me that I didn't need to watch Trey get taken away in the ambulance. But I had already seen him shot and on the ground. So what's the ambulance going to do?
Mm. Um, and for you, I mean, to come out and speak about this, I know this isn't easy. Like, and I know you've done a couple other interviews, your family is speaking. Why is it important for you to speak about Trey Wright?
I just want his story to get out there. I don't want them to get away with what they did. I just don't want this to go unheard because with today's world, it's really bad with teens getting shot and teens killing teens.
Yeah, what is it about? Because that's the thing for me on the outside, seeing the Snapchat, seeing, I know Devin Raper, there's a picture of him holding a gun and like flashing it to the camera. And you have this terrible scene, and for them, they could go to prison for a long time as well. And it seems like, how is it that these people do not seem to at least take the allegations seriously, at least from what we've seen from these social media posts?
I truly don't understand it because they all know what part they had in it. And most of them, Devin was calling a mutual friend of Trey's and basically laughing before he got arrested, saying that the cops weren't coming to get him. And Basically just taunting us and harassing us on the phone.
And even you were harassed on the phone by Devin.
He didn't physically say anything to me, but it was a group of our family and Trey's friends that crowded around the phone to hear what Devin had to say, because he had tried to say that he didn't do anything.
Is there anything I missed or anything you'd want people to know as now there is just so much attention on this story?
I just really hope people learn that this is not the way that they need to go about things. I don't agree with violence at all. I really feel like most situations could just be talked out instead of having to get physical or violent.
Yeah, and again, Trey Wright just seemed like a great guy, someone that you'd want to be friends with. Jasmine,
He really was.
I'm so sorry for your loss. Thank you for talking with us. Again, I know this isn't easy, but we really appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
All the suspects in this case are innocent until proven guilty. That will do it for On the Case, presented by Law and Crime. Subscribe to us on YouTube and Spotify. I'm Chris Stewart. We'll see you next time.